Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Water Sports Nomad Show. That's the podcast that deep dives into the lives of people who have turned their passion for water into the passports to travel and teach all around the world. And so we are here hoping to inspire and inform you and get you along the journey of becoming a true water sports nomad. So the question on the table today is, how do I get a job as a water sports instructor? You've probably seen lots of our content about living the dream and sunshines and rainbows and dolphins here in the Bay of Dreams in Vasiliki, and hopefully you've been a little bit inspired. But the real thing we're going to discuss today is how to get a job as a water sports instructor, and we're going to break that down into the 5 steps. All right, so first one would be choose your water sport. All right, so you need to decide what is your favourite sport that you would like to get good at, because you've got to be reasonably good, haven't you? How good have you got to be, would you say?
For windsurfing or?
In general.
I mean, not that good. It sounds crazy to say, but the great thing about the water sports is they've made it so tiered, if you like, or so step by step of becoming qualified and getting into the industry, that the lowest level basic qualification, you don't need to be crazy good. Like using using windsurfing as an example, people think I've got to be full power jumping, blasting, carve driving, all this flakka shaka ding dong stuff. When actually to be a windsurfing instructor at the start level, you don't need all of that. You don't even need to be planing.
Yep.
You need a solid beach start. You need to be sailing upwind on a board without a dagger board. And you need some good demonstrations of the start skills on start equipment. So a 200 litre board, a 4 metre sail, doing static turns, and most importantly, sailing upwind comfortably. As long as you can do the basic demos well, you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you just need to be the level above the people who you're trying to teach, don't you? So as a basic minimum, you've got to be the level above, because you do need to be a little bit better than your clients. But if you can remember what it's like to be a beginner, and if you actually, maybe struggled a little bit to learn the sport, that can turn into your superpower as an instructor, because you have empathy with the students and the people who are beginners or big winners, as we call them.
Some of the best start instructors didn't click to start with.
Yeah.
They didn't quite get that. Actually, one of the best dinghy instructors I can remember through the years that I'd helped sort of train and develop really didn't get the hang of dinghy sailing, and she was an apprentice dinghy instructor, so not qualified, could sail around, and she was working with another instructor. I remember this so clearly. She went out, she launched with a beam reach course, so she had her boat sailing back and forth across the wind was the goal, and she was with a qualified instructor who was sort of running the session, but she was the assistant. Something went wrong right in the middle of the course. She flipped her boat over upside down. She then ran the rest of the 10 minutes, 20-minute session from an upside down boat. Boats going back and forth next to her, coaching, flipped it back up, and then managed to sail back into the beach for a really nice debrief. Learnt from that, and then over the years became a really good instructor, and remembered what she'd done wrong in those first sessions, remembered how difficult it was, and then could remember what the light bulb moments were, what were the eureka moments that really worked for her, that then allowed her to become a really good empathetic instructor and really click with other people who couldn't click. That works.
That's it. And what we would also say is, once you get qualified, you're obviously going to get paid to do that sport, so you can continue to improve your own personal ability. Hopefully you have a good passion to get out on the water after hours or whenever you get the chance to improve your personal ability. Obviously it does help if you're really good at the sport. There's no limit to how good you can be.
No.
You can be, very high personal ability, but the most important thing is not to bang on about how good you are when you're teaching beginners, because that doesn't really help them at all. And what would you say about doing multiple sports, being qualified in multi-disciplines?
I love it.
Yeah.
Any opportunity you've got to try something new, do it. And if there's enough time in your life that you can get good enough and then get a qualification into it, even better.
Yeah.
I became a kite instructor because I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And even at the time, the people that I was working at this school, I was like the head of windsurfing, I think it was, and there was an opportunity that, it wasn't really an opportunity, I just saw a gap. I was like, can I do it? And they all questioned why, and I was like, because I can.
Yeah.
Can I? And sure enough, I then became an IKO kite instructor.
Yeah.
Because I saw the gap and went for it. And yeah, kiting, winging, windsurfing, sailing, stand-up paddleboarding, e-foiling, whatever you can get your hands on, try it out.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. I mean, what you'll find is there's so many transferable skills as well between teaching sailing and windsurfing and wing foiling or kite surfing, that you're at an advantage the more you have. And the other advantage you have is that you get more variety in your daily work. So you get to teach different sports. You also get to teach, what we'd also say is, if you want to stay with one sport, try and get a much higher qualification so you can have a variety of levels that you teach. Not just teaching beginners all day, you might have an advanced lessons in the afternoon, beginners in the morning. And obviously the more sports you can teach, the more employable you are, which means you get to have the pick of the jobs. And importantly as well, if you're more employable, you get to pick sort of the more choice locations, I think.
I think that's actually going to talk about interviews and CVs coming up, but even if you're just a windsurf instructor and you haven't yet done all the other ones, but you've got some experience sailing or yachting or whatever else, then that can come up and that can come in a nice conversation during the interview, that you are experienced in other things, even if you're not qualified. That definitely puts you up on the ladder against other potential candidates.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, for example, lots of the guys that work at Wildwind here as sailing instructors, they all love windsurfing in their own personal time, and they're using it as an opportunity to get out on the water and get better. So once you do get one sport locked in, you're out in a resort where there's loads of water sports going on, you would be mad not to spread your wings, as we say, and get some other qualities under your belt. So that's great. Choose your water sport. Step 2 is obviously get qualified. You need to get certified. We use obviously the RYA, that's the Royal Yachting Association for sailing and windsurfing. So when it comes to getting qualified, what's the best way to do it?
I mean, all of the qualifications you have to go to a training academy, a training school, be that Water Sports Nomad or whichever other one is relevant to whichever sport you're trying to get into. If you can already do it to a reasonable level, you could jump straight in and just do the instructor course. Some of them are 1 week, some of them 2. The difference we have, and we see this every time with Water Sports Nomad, is that they get a minimum of 4 weeks training, one of those weeks being the instructor course. And the difference that we get with a few weeks preparing before going to instructor course to someone just turning up and doing it is night and day. The development, the prep time, the training that actually gets you ready to deliver the course and actually be a qualified instructor at the end is huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point, isn't it? The assessment at the end of the course is one thing, where you're actually being an instructor, running sessions and getting coached and feedback and ultimately getting assessed on your ability to teach people in the constantly moving environment. But there is a long list of prerequisites that are required to get yourself up to that level. Obviously, powerboat driving and a powerboat license is required, as well as first aid, training and scenarios, and putting all of those skills together with the prerequisites. One of the things I would say about sort of getting certified is that can either be a really stressful experience, or it can actually be a really enjoyable experience where you actually totally prepared, you've got all the prerequisites, they're done in the bag, so you don't even need to worry about them, and you can make the most of the instructor course. You can sit back and you're just focusing on all of the top tips and the structures and the frameworks that we show of how to teach and actually, you know, run good lessons on the ocean. And we've seen all different types of people on instructor courses, haven't we? We've seen people panicked and stressed and on the back foot because they weren't ready, and we've seen people that are just cruising it. They're just like, I was totally ready for this, I'm smashing it and I'm enjoying it. Enjoyable experience for everybody involved.
I think with everything, the more prepared you are for any sort of a test, exam or presentation, the more prepared you are, the better you're going to do. And that's exactly what Nomads get ready for when it comes to the actual instructor course. And I think we've done so many instructor courses now over the years. The people that are prepared and ready, the people that are actually taking it all on board, are the ones that make the most out of it. Any stress, I think, isn't brought from us, it's brought from them, making themselves stressed. Like, it's supposed to be a training week. We're not turning up just to say, go, be an instructor, deliver it now. Day 1 of the instructor part of the course to day 5, people develop, people change because of the training we've given them just during the instructor course.
That's right. And if you're out on the water and you're learning a new skill, you're either in your comfort zone, in the push zone, or you're well out into the danger zone. And it's the same with people when they're teaching. If they're teaching people and they're in the comfort zone, that comes across to their instructors and their students and the lessons that they're creating. And everybody is here to have a good time. Whereas if the instructor is stressed, not prepared, just generally not happy. That will come straight through to the students, won't it?
Yeah.
And they'll figure it all out.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
So get certified, train hard, and fight easy is what we're saying with that one. Okay. Step number 3 to getting a job, and the top tips, is to build your experience and your confidence. Okay, so having a ticket that says you can teach a water sport, sailing or windsurfing, for example, is one thing. But having some actual experience, either assisting or helping on real sessions, I would say that's a massive bonus, isn't it? When employers are looking at people.
Big time.
Yeah. So how do they do that? How do you get experience? How do you build your confidence as an instructor?
I mean, almost any club that runs sessions will be looking for someone to assist. If you just turn up, or if you can get in touch with them ahead of time and say, I want to help out, have you got some instruction courses coming up, or some windsurfing, anything coming up, I just want to turn up and assist, I've got these qualifications, they'd be crazy not to bite your hand off. I've run clubs for a long time, and I really wanted unqualified or newly qualified people that were then these fresh, clean slates that I could train and develop and bring into our club. It was such a bonus having these people in there. So just putting yourself out there, meeting the clubs, meeting the centre managers or whoever is running those areas, they will give you the experience, they'll take you on board. You may not get paid for it, depending on your qualification or the agreement, but to get the experience to then get the job, invaluable.
That's right, and when we certify and we qualify people, as we do a lot here, we say to them, this is not the end, it's just the very beginning of your journey. It's like getting your license. Now you're going to start learning, and you know yourself, you learn a lot from teaching with as many different people as possible, because you steal all the good little bits that you get from all of the experience within the team. So some kind of work experience would be really dreamy. That will also help you to get references of people that have really seen you with real clients doing the real thing, to get you going. So that's great. So once you've got some experience, you're going to need to apply for jobs. So how do we apply for dream jobs?
I mean, first thing to set up is a simple water sports CV, and there's just so many different apps and software out there that do it, but it needs to jump off a page. I've seen thousands of CVs that are just black and white boringness. I'm not saying it needs to be all bells and whistles and pretty fairies all over it, but just a little bit of colour, a nice smiling, professional looking photo, really clearly showing your qualifications and your experience, which are more important than your GCSEs or your A-levels or whatever. They need to be on there somewhere, but top of the list, I'm a windsurf instructor and I've got this experience.
I have a set email that I send out to all the nomads, and it has a template CV to fill in, and it has an example CV, but it says very clearly water sports CV. This is not your curriculum vitae that you're applying to university with. It's a one-page hard hitter, nice smiley photo, and it doesn't really care about your GCSEs.
No.
And also it's not overloaded with too much information, and we describe it as the trailer for the movie. You don't want the whole script of the whole movie, you literally want the bullet points. And those bullet points should be designed to make people ask more questions. Oh, I wonder what they did in that week of work experience at Wildwind or Club Bass. You know, it's the trailer for the movie, and basically it's designed to get you the interview. CV gets you the interview. The interview gets you the job. Don't be thinking that some big fat essay is going to make somebody read it and give you a job. It's just not going to happen. So it should be things that make people want to interview. I really want to interview this person to figure out what they did when they were there. You know, ask the question that's on the CV, and you know that is really, really important, isn't it? So you've got a CV, great, but then you've got to actually apply to the companies. So how do you do that then?
I mean, the water sports industry is fully worldwide. So throw your net, throw your line far and wide, rather than just singling into one place. And I think it's the downside, I suppose, of Vasiliki becomes the centre of the universe, because people have spent a few weeks here and then can't imagine being anywhere else. We've both worked all around the world and we've ended up here, but there's so many great places that you can go windsurfing, sailing, paddleboarding, whatever. So don't just focus in on one specific job.
I totally agree with that, and I think lots of people look online and they go, I don't think I want to work there, I might want to work there, I'm not sure if I want to work there. And we go, guys, you can't decide until you've applied to all of these people and they've given you a job offer. And then you can decide after that. You are quite in your rights to apply to as many different people as possible. Do as many interviews as possible as well.
Because that will get practice. That's a big one, practice for the interview. So even if you're not sure if you want to work for the company, you can turn up to the interview with a list of questions going, I've heard about this, can you explain more about that, tell me about this? And through the line, you might decide, actually, no, I don't want to work for this company, but you've had a practice interview, you've asked some nice questions, maybe they've offered you a better job than you were expecting to get in the end.
Exactly. You might decide, actually, they were really nice people and they told me some great stuff about the career pathway within that company, or the many different locations they can offer me, or maybe the winter jobs that would follow after a successful summer season.
Or it could be a short-term opportunity, which then opens the door for the next one that you want to get. You've got to get your foot in the ladder somewhere and get that experience we talked about earlier before you can then really start picking your job, as it were. Okay,
so we've got jobs, and then we've applied, and then interview process. How do you do a good job in the interview?
When I was interviewing people, when I was looking to who I wanted to employ, it was always about the attitude.
Yeah.
I can give someone the knowledge, I can give someone the experience, and I can fill in the missing gaps. But if it's the right character, the right person, the right kind of get up and go attitude, that's the person I want. And I even take underqualified or even unqualified people over someone that's more qualified if they came across as the right attitude, the right person in the interview.
So you're looking for positive sort of problem solving.
Yeah.
Because when you bring somebody into a team out here, it's not just 9 to 5 work and we're done. It's a lifestyle.
It's life.
We're
it's
going
everything.
to be in the morning, we're going to be out at night with them, we're
Yeah.
going to be on the water, and we're going to literally be like a family.
Yeah.
You know.
I want the person that's up for organising a barbecue, and then the next morning we're going to take the team for a paddleboard, and we're all in good attitude, good spirits. You might be a little bit drowsy from whatever you did the night before, but that's all right. I'm here with the right attitude.
Pick up the morale and work together.
It's all on the attitude. It's more that than the knowledge or even the personal windsurfing experience. Could be amazing, but if it's the wrong attitude, I don't really want them in our team.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great stuff. And top tips as well, I think, when you're applying to a company, they would like to know that you have done a bit of research about that company. And you just go, guys, I looked at all your resorts online and they look great, and I want to work here because they have sailing and windsurfing. Or, you know, I want to work here because, you know, I think this would really fit with my skill set. Or I want to work with kids because, you know, I really love messing around, having loads of fun. Or whatever it is, they want to know that you want to work with that exact company, not just, I want a job because I want someone to pay me to get a tan.
Yeah.
And that's really not going to come across well, is it? So yeah, I love that positive attitude. So the last one is packing your bag and actually going and living the dream and doing that thing. So you've got a job offer. How do you get organised to make the most of it?
Depends where you're going, and I think most of the companies will give you a bit of a kit list of these are our top 10 things you need to make sure you bring.
Yeah.
And it's worth just, we're water sports instructors, bearing in mind, yes, you're coming to Greece, but you're coming in the spring or you're coming in the autumn, it's cold.
Yeah.
You will need jumpers and jeans and a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Rather than just I've had a few people just turn up with shorts and t-shirts. You know, it's May, it's freezing.
Yeah. And you're not much use as an instructor if you're shivering and freezing in the corner. You want to get off the water. And you're not making good decisions if you're super cold. So I think that's really important, and just generally, like you said, making the most out of it. How are they going to, during that summer season, how are they going to get their windsurfing up to a higher level so they can take the next level of instructor qualification at the end to improve and progress themselves?
I think the short answer is take every opportunity you can get. And if there's not an opportunity but you want there to be one, ask. You know, the seniors above you might not have spotted everything that you as the new person coming in, or haven't been aware that you wanted to do something. You could turn up as a sailing instructor, but you really want to learn how to teach windsurfing. Maybe your seniors haven't spotted that, so ask. And there will be that opportunity that, of course you can go and help on the instructor courses for the week, help on the Start Windsurf course for the week, or vice versa, sailing to windsurfing. Make opportunities and grab them whenever there is an opportunity there.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think, like we said, we want to get the job, but we want to keep the job, and we want to stay for the whole summer. And you know as well as I do, there can be quite a high turnover of seasonal employees when people come and go. You've got to, if you've ever been obviously lucky to come on a holiday like this, you really have to, although you're in the same place, you really have to change your mentality very quickly about how I'm actually at work now. Yeah. I'm being paid to be here, and I am responsible for facing these guests and making sure they are having the best time on the water. It's not really about me anymore when I'm at work. It's about them enjoying themselves, and in turn that will pay me back.
A lot of these clubs and water sports centres are networked into other ones, be that the same company have got 10 hotels, or actually they've got someone else that's connected elsewhere. So when your season finishes here, there might be an opportunity to go somewhere else. And somewhere else and somewhere else.
More
and,
than likely.
Part of your team are prime examples. They've just driven an hour away to the next club to do the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I had it in Egypt. I was out there working once, and I knew there was an instructor course I wanted to do back in Europe. And through the same company, I sort of fished together this plan, pitched it to my senior. I was like, well, if I go and do the instructor course, I then know that somewhere else is looking for team members for a few weeks, and then I can come back here afterwards. So out of nothing, I managed to make this sort of 6 or 8 week plan that involved me getting higher qualified, going somewhere else for a few weeks, and then coming back to my base centre. And for everyone, it worked out great, and I got a nice little 6-8 week trip around and got more qualified, winning all around.
That's right. So it's a very small industry, and your actions will speak volumes, won't they?
Yeah.
Whether they're good or, you know, positively or negatively. Whatever you do will come back around, and will stay in the industry. Okay, fantastic. The other thing you've got to do is make sure that your travel documents are ready and that your qualifications are, you know, all in order and sent off to your employer. Again, like we said before about giving a first impression to your clients, giving a first impression to your employer, to say, yep, I'm organised, here's a copy of all my OAA qualifications in a digital format. You know, I'm a switched on human, you know, and I'm not gonna make you regret hiring me. And then anybody that I come into contact is gonna have a positive experience, and I'm gonna be a solid team member. There is no other way than to succeed on season in your life than to be a team player. It's such a team game, isn't it? So just thinking about how, whatever you can do, whatever you're good at, how your actions can positively impact the team in which you're working with. Because if your team is strong through you know, everybody's efforts, then for a majority of the time the guests will have a great time. And that really is the key to success, isn't it? The client.